Olá, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, endeavouring to keep you up to date with what's going on here in Portugal in the English language. We endeavoured to help Rodrigo yesterday with his question, and he was very grateful. So glad to have been of service there. We have another question this morning, and this we'll return to later after the facts and figures. But this person says, I listen to your YouTube updates on Portugal as it's in English. My friend and I live here now in Portugal in the Algarve. We're both Australian, but both have European passports. My friend has already obtained residence, and I was in the process of getting mine. Are you aware of what, or if any, stimulus package by the Portuguese government for any help in these times, as in rents, bills, electric, water, and so on? Okay, well, we will return to answering that as we go more into the I suppose it's a clinic, isn't it, where we can all help the person who asked that question. And if you have questions and need support yourself, do shout out in the comments or give us a call, 913-590-303, and you can come and join me on the show, or you can just jump on the screen as well. Not literally, you know what I mean. You can join the live stream as well if I send you a link. So let me know if you want that. Oh, always weird when anyone coughs now, as I keep saying, but I've become so self-conscious about coughing. And also, please excuse the lockdown look this morning. Good morning to you, Stephanie, from Tavira. We haven't done this for a while, but I think we should have a quick look at the weather, because there was extraordinary weather in Portugal yesterday. Snow in Castelo Branco and Fundão. So let's have a look at the good old Good Morning Portugal website and our weather tab. And you can see it's raining in Lisbon. This doesn't help with lockdown, does it? It's well, I suppose it's difficult. If it's hot, you're thinking, I wish I could be out there. But it's certainly more miserable, I think, when you're indoors and it's raining or miserable outside and you're just trying to keep warm and dry inside. But look, rain in Lisbon at the moment, but looking better for the next couple of days. And certainly not, the snow hasn't got that far. I don't know if it's ever rained in Lisbon. Is it? Probably is some historical event when that happened. Porto, 8 degrees currently. And looking forward to a nice few days. Very similar, a little bit of cloud. Beja, a little bit of rain to come there. Braga, a bit cooler as you'd expect, and some rain. Bragança, similarly. Castelo Branco, look, that's where the snow was. 4 degrees and possible drizzle at the moment, and a couple of rainy days to look forward to. But then a little bit of sun on Friday. But they're used to that, aren't they, there? Coimbra, rain later on today. And a couple of sunny days. Oh dear, oh dear. Évora, raining at the moment, possible drizzle forecast for today. Faro, 11 degrees, high of 16. Guarda, 1 degree, the coldest part of the country. And yeah, where that rain was yesterday, no doubt. 1 degree, overcast, and a little bit of sunshine to come Thursday, Friday. La Area, rainy for the next couple of, well, today and tomorrow anyway. Porto Alegre, rain today and tomorrow. 3 degrees at the moment and a high of 11. Santarém, 8 degrees, possible drizzle today. Estabal, possible light rain today. Viana do Castelo, sunny at the moment and a couple of sunny days Thursday and Friday, but cloudy and rainy today. Villarreal, 4 degrees currently and sunny. Viseu, 3 degrees and sunny. And weather not looking too bad, again, there for the next couple of days. And the Azores, Azores, 14 degrees, mostly cloudy right now. That's a nice temperature to wake to, isn't it? And Madeira, 8 degrees, mostly cloudy. Forecast for today and cloudy days for the rest of the week by the look of it. So this is the Good Morning Portugal live stream. Do shout out, and I can see there's quite a few people tuned in this morning. Thank you for doing that, and make of this, make it your own. I'd like to say we have the Stay Positive Portugal group on Facebook as well. And we do the live stream from here every morning, giving you the facts and figures. So let's do that. But do let me know what you need to know, and do update us from your part of the world as well. And we'll go, as we normally do, to the DGS website. That's where we can see the current numbers. Confirmed cases in Portugal right now. Or the latest figures anyway, 7,443. 43 people have recovered. That's quite a slow figure at the moment. I think that's been around that number for quite a few days now, it would appear. Don't quote me on that, but would hope to see more, a higher number of recoveries. 160 deaths, sadly, and 52,000 suspected cases. And you'll see the, we'll go to Craig Morfitt's excellent coverage in a minute with his look at what's going on. And you'll see that I think there was double reporting going on in Porto, which you'll see there is now no longer in the number one position for confirmed cases. It is now Lisbon, and we'll check out what happened there with the double reporting. But that can really skew your view, can't it? If you believe the numbers and they're reported wrongly, there's a bit of a sobering slavery to numbers there, and how we should always keep an open mind, really. Okay, so let's look at Craig's coverage now. Craig Morfitt is doing a fantastic job. The man should have a medal after this of some kind, keeping us informed of what's going on. And let's begin with his update for the 30th. And we've done the numbers already, but his analysis shows that the showing a daily growth rate of 7.48% of yesterday's total. This represents a very welcome slowing of the growth rate, which I think we can derive some hope for, and hope that that extends and that pattern continues. This is the lowest daily increase. That was the 30th of March. That was the lowest daily increase in the past 5 days. I think there is probably a later version of Craig Morfitt's update, and I'm going to see if I can find that for you. Okay, so let's stop sharing that screen for a moment. Perhaps you could let me know who you are and where you are. Neil Perkins, good morning, Carl, from Alvito in Evra. How's it going? How's it going in Tavira? How's it going in Alvito, Evra, Stephanie and Neil? Also, Dawn has given us her. I love getting your reports, Dawn. I'll leave everyone to read that for just a moment while I endeavour to find Craig Morfitt's longer update. I'll see if I can do that, and then we'll return to those Aussie guys as well, to see if we can give them a bit of help as a group mind. I'm certainly not seeing myself as a sole authority here. My aim is to throw it open so that we can all help each other in this time. You know, I don't want to be the. I'm certainly no expert. I'm not a scientist or anything like that. I'm just trying to be helpful with the providing the space for us to help each other. And that's what it's. That would be my most useful help right here. We completed the shopping yesterday. Well done, Dawn. You were a bit concerned about that when you cycled 5 kilometers to Continent. Got everything we needed. Wow, cycled. Set off first thing, so no queues. Very somber atmosphere. Yeah, that's what I've recognised in my local supermarket on the one visit I've made recently. No one talking. Reminded me of the Handmaid's Tale series. Crikey, I watched recently. Anyway, back in isolation for another week. First time ever. I wrote a shopping list just to make sure I didn't forget anything. Those carefree days are behind us, but hopefully we'll return, Dawn, when we can just ad lib it and busk in the supermarket and pick what we fancy. Just had a massive downpour there in where is it? You're in the Algarve. Rain forecast over the next several days. Thank you very much for that update, Dawn, from the Algarve there. Okay, so I found Craig's most recent update now. That's more useful. I don't want to give you information from the 30th. A couple of days in the current situation can make a lot of difference, can't it? So let's have a look at what Craig had to say yesterday. The increase of 1,035 cases in the past 24 hours. This is yesterday, showing a daily growth rate of 16.1% of yesterday's total. That would have been the 30th. This represents the largest daily number of cases recorded in Portugal, but a 16% increase is not high when compared to other countries. We are seeing a noticeable increase in the number of confirmed cases in the 80-plus age group. Porto is no longer at the top of the list of infections per city town, as the government had been double counting cases for Porto. And we'll look at that story below, which is, as I say, a bit sobering. We have had another 20 deaths, bringing the death toll to 160. That represents 14.3 increase in deaths. Yesterday's increase was 17.6. The official statistics still show that the youngest people to die from the virus are in the 40 to 49 years age group. The number of COVID patients admitted to hospital has increased to 627. It was 571 the day before. 188 of them are in intensive care, and that was 164 the day before. An additional 7,880 tests were conducted yesterday, bringing the total number of tests to 52,086. Of those tested, 4,610 are awaiting results. Okay, and then you can find this for yourself and receive it as it's published by Craig in Porto Expats. And if you friend him up, you can see it on his own page as well. But Porto Expats seems to be the fastest place to find it, and where Craig first publishes this excellent information. And in what could be a significant blunder, he writes, the Directorate General for Health admits that there may have been a double count of the number of infected with COVID-19 in Porto. In declarations to Jornal de Noticias, DGS explains that a mixed methodology is being used that collects data transmitted by the regional health administrations and the platform of the National Epidemiological Surveillance System, SINAV. For this reason, despite the fact that the official numbers now indicate that there are 941 cases of infection in Porto, the number infected with COVID-19 may be lower. The above-mentioned error now seems to have been confirmed, as yesterday's DGS stats show that Porto had 941 cases, whereas today's stats, this was as of yesterday, show only 462. I should point out as well, it's a kind of spoiler alert, there are no April Fool's jokes in this, in case you're wondering if I would be doing that. It's too dangerous to mess about with this. As much as I love a good April Fool's joke, and there are a few knocking about, some brave souls doing that on social media. There are none in this show today, even if you think there might be. They are not intended. But what I do like there is the mixed methodology. I might be using that at home in my marriage if I make a mistake, and just say I was using a mixed methodology. Sorry about that. The government is recommending that persons who have a legitimate need to drive on the road should carry documentation with them. Very important for us expats and explorers, I think, as particularly if your language skills aren't that great. Take stuff with you to prove who you are and what business you might be on, I think is the good advice to come from there. During the current state of emergency, police forces have legitimacy to not only restrict road traffic and or close roads, but also order people to return home if they're violating their self-isolation duty, the ministry said. While they are not mandatory, these supporting documents signed by employers do help police forces establish who is going to or returning from their workplace or their need to cross the April 25th bridge in Lisbon, for example, the government body added. So yeah, well worth taking your ID with you and anything to explain why you might be out and about. It's been noticed recently the number of people who've recovered from the virus has stalled at 43. Yes, I noticed that. I mentioned that before. Inquiries have been made with the government into this matter. It now seems that at least one reason for the stall in the number of recovered is the requirement that each individual must test negative in 2 separate tests. Crikey, that's a lengthy process then. With the testing priority being focused on diagnosing new cases, there seems to be a reluctance to waste time and 2 test kits per person to follow up on those who have already been tested positive. Many people may have clinically recovered but have not yet had the required tests to formalise their recovery, and that was in publico.pt. I'm going to leave it there with Craig's excellent coverage. Find that for yourself in Porto Expats. But it would be good, wouldn't it, to have that number growing of people who have recovered. I take some comfort in that, I have to say. If you want to call this morning before I go into looking at helping out a couple of Aussie guys who are in the Algarve, the number to call is 913-590-303. Thanks for shouting out Stephanie, Neil and Dawn. Anyone else? I know you're there. Oh, yes, from Panela, one of my favourite parts of Portugal, Eloise is saying it's windy but beautiful. Always beautiful in Panela. Thank you, Eloise, for saying good morning this morning. Okay, this inquiry, can we help these guys here? This is a chap who, I won't say who they are, just save their blushes or whatever. Listen to your YouTube updates on Portugal as it's in English. My friend and I live here now in Portugal in the Algarve. We're both Australian, but both of us have European passports. That's a nice position to be in. My friend has already obtained his residence, and I was in the process of getting mine. Are you aware of what, or if any, stimulus package by the Portuguese government for any help in these times in respect of rents, bills, electric, water, and so on? Cheers. Well, and I would welcome the group intelligence and intel here if you are getting help with any of those things, or if you know anything. One thing I would say, the first thing is, if you have one of you has residence and the other was in the process, you are now technically, as far as I'm aware, considered residents anyway for the duration of the state of emergency. Portugal has taken anyone who was applying for residency and is in this country into its bosom, as it were. And you are, as far as I'm aware, you will be treated as a resident, and specifically in terms of tax. I'm only joking, but I'm sure that's true as well. No, you'll be treated as a resident. In terms of social security, and I saw that it was, I thought it was Lisbob. Lisbob runs some interesting stuff, but no, lisbonproject.org. Perhaps I can share this with you, which may be useful. Information about social security during COVID-19. So let's share that screen with you. And we'll come back to you, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for your information there. We'll come back to that after we've endeavoured to help these fellas, these Aussies in the Algarve. And let's have a look at sharing this information about social security from the lisbonproject.org. Here we go. Information about social security during COVID-19. I would say to those guys, this is the place to start. Go to Social Segurança Social, social security, for any help of this kind. That's got to be the best place to start. The other thing, join the Stay Positive Portugal group. And I think, the vibe in there is that people want to help other people. So anyone who's got that, or is in that situation, or who has got some of this help, might let us know how that process worked, because it's always good to get the practical know-how on how to do these things. So 3-step process for engaging with Social Security. Get a Social Security number, and these are the things you'll need: passport, proof of address, application to SCF for residence or asylum, job contract or promise of a contract. Pretty self-explanatory. With these things, take everything with you. Guard it with your life and take everything with you so you don't have to keep toing and froing. And subsidy for sickness due to isolation decreed by the health authorities. Who qualifies? The measure applies to all workers that work as an employee for someone else or a self-employed liberal worker. So that's one. And you're entitled to a sick leave subsidy in its total value of 100% of the salary. And maximum duration of this subsidy is 14 days. So that'll keep you going for a little while. If the worker that as an employee works for someone, the person should send his or her isolation declaration issued by the health authorities to the employer company. I won't read all of this bureaucratic business here, but I'll make the link available. There are various scenarios discussed there, and you can see for yourself exceptional support and so on this very excellent bit of information. Exceptional assistance to the family for independent self-employed workers and domestic workers. Tells you who qualifies, tells you what the benefit is. Extraordinary assistance for reduced economical activity for independent workers. There you go. I think that's a really good place to start, and thank you to the Lisbon Project for that. I'll make sure that goes into Stay Positive Portugal. You're looking at the Good Morning Portugal live stream. We do this every morning from 9 o'clock or thereabouts. I try and get on at 9 o'clock and then give you the facts and figures first, and then we can go into a bit more of a social thing as we're doing right now, helping people and helping each other. Stephanie says, we also shopped yesterday. Everything well stocked first thing in the morning. Dawn, we also make extensive lists as we only go out one time per week at very most. I'm still concerned about the amount of traffic I'm hearing, and also concerned about some of the negativity I've seen on social media. Let's all try to stay positive, says Stephanie, and be hopeful there can be good things to come of this. We can do this, and we want to keep this lovely country friendly and a delightful place to be for local people. Love that. Thank you, Stephanie. That's given me a little tingle, goosebumps hearing that. Absolutely right. Let's all try to stay positive and be hopeful that there can be good things to come of this. I'm sure they can. But it's down to us, isn't it, to make sure that happens. So thank you very much, Stephanie, for that comment. And all of these comments, the live stream is on the Good Morning Portugal page, as you know, but all the comments stand there. If there's anything that somebody says that you want to come back to, or somebody you want to friend up or whatever, in these times of social distancing, all of this remains on the Good Morning Portugal page as all the comments and posts that come with the live stream. Stephen Kirk, morning, Carl. Yes, I'm still in the UK, delayed again in moving to Porto. I'll get there one day. Good to hear you. Take care. Yeah, all the best with that process, Stephen. Kind of a mixed blessing, isn't it, not to be in Porto at the moment, but in the best of times, a fantastic, fabulous city to be in. So all the best to you in the UK and with your process of getting out here one day, as you put it. Thanks for making contact, Stephen. Neil, the sheep in the meadow opposite just dropped 2 lambs. Life goes on, doesn't it? One up and trying to walk. The struggle for life goes on. That's beautiful as well. You know, there's nothing greater, is there, in many ways, as a representation of the beauty and, as you rightly say there, Neil, the struggle in nature to see lambs being born. And those lambs, you know, they hit the ground running, don't they? Just born this morning and trying to walk already. Takes us humans a little bit longer than that. Thank you for that, Neil. That's a lovely little scene in our mind's eye, you transporting us to Evora to see lambs being born. And Dawn adds, yes, too many cars on the road here too. I don't know what's going to happen with that. You know, the president is all for an extension, I think, of... Let me share this page with you. The president is all for extending, it would seem. It's not official yet, but I think the way it's heading, here you'll see in the Portugal Resident a picture of... I think he's a great guy. You know, like I said before, a lot of what's going on I don't understand because I don't understand the language. You know, I have a sort of political social age in Portugal of a 5-year-old, and that suits me just fine on most occasions because I'm not drawn into the nastiness of it, I suppose, and the polarity of it all. And he just seems like a steady and stable guy. You know, and I'm sort of sure if you're a Portuguese native, you have a slightly different view of politics. But I'm really impressed by the way so far it's being handled. Marcelo has been doing his meetings to inform his position on the state of emergency. But everything points to, I think, that his decision, and it will be his decision based on the input from the various experts, and with I think the government and the assembly are happy to follow his lead. The head of state has had various meetings ahead of tomorrow's decision that's coming today, which is expected to extend the state of emergency from midnight on Wednesday to midnight on April the 16th. So it is in 15-day increments, the state of emergency. A decision on whether or not schools will reopen will come next week, he said, following further meetings. And already schools are not expected to open, are they, again, before the end of the summer term. It's already been widely reported that the Education Ministry is busy organising programmes for distance learning during the third period of summer term. Prime Minister Antonio Costa himself has said the third period will probably not be very different to what school has been for these last few weeks. I'm sure kids, thank you to Natasha Don for that from the Portugal Resident. And it's going to be like, you know, the curve, as we remember from our own summer holidays. Isn't it wonderful, the first few days of not having to go to school, and then something, you know, you go through some sort of boredom curve, and then you pop out the other side. So kids, hang on in there. You will, and as people are saying, you know, boredom's good for kids. You'll get through it. Because we're all in that situation, I guess, right now, finding different ways of managing our boredom. Never a dull moment in my household, I have to say. And I hope you're not struggling or suffering too much with any boredom or anxiety. Shout out to us here. Join us every morning and have a chat with each other across this live stream. Please do that. Stephanie, Neil, Dawn, Eloise, Stephen, thank you so much for shouting out this morning. Really appreciate it. It makes this worthwhile. And I hope each of you and everyone else who's listening or who sees this in YouTube later on manages to stay calm and happy and healthy and safe. So take care. Bye for now. And we'll see you again tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Até amanhã.